It's perfectly normal to get close to level 40 in Classic without being even close to the 100 gold mark. Unlike the newer versions of the game in which the mount is just given to you when you reach a certain level, in vanilla you really had to put in some work for it, and it was quite a milestone. And if you're not tired of walking all over the map by the time you hit 40, you will definitely be from now on without a mount. You see, Classic was designed to incentivize players to get their first mount. From the start of your adventure, you usually see the mounts and the vendors within the starting zones. By doing that, the game sets a long-term goal for you from an early stage. The level 40 plus zones were also designed considering that players have access to mounts, since these are pretty big with quite a lot of ground to cover between quest givers and questing objectives. Now, I'm not a big fan of grinding, but it's kind of the only way to get your first mount in Classic, unless you are a card swiper or really lucky with valuable item drops. The grind is not that bad in hardcore because you will gain a few levels with minimum risk, and it can help you stay ahead and out-level questing zones. That's why I have taken the risk factor into consideration for the recommended spots, and it's all practical. I literally went there and grinded for hours to get accurate and realistic numbers. It's not just theoretical like some guides that I saw online in which they throw in some overly inflated numbers. These spots are also great for the upcoming self-found hardcore challenge that was confirmed at BlizzCon, so we are not relying on some crazy action house hustle. This guide will mainly focus on raw gold that you can farm yourself while also staying safe. As you can see, my hardcore character is still alive, and I managed to get my mount right when I hit 40 by using these spots that I'm about to show you in the video. Skinning is not mandatory, but I recommend cooking even if the main source of gold will be from vendoring grey items. I only have cooking myself, and it really boosted my gold per run in some cases. As I was getting close to 40 myself, I realized that I needed to think about some ways of making money since engineering wasn't helping and I wasn't that lucky with valuable drops to sell on the action house. I had about 16 gold at level 35 when I decided to take a break from quests and focus a bit on grinding. Already had a few places in mind, but decided to check out some guides, and naturally I started my search here on YouTube. Let me start off with the one that you should avoid. For some reason, I saw the Swamp of Sorrows Jaguar farm on a couple of guides, and let me tell you from the start that it's a really crappy spot. I gave it 2 chances, one at level 35 and another one at level 37. I got similar results, averaging around 2 gold per hour, while some of these guides suggest that you should make around 7 gold per hour. Maybe I was unlucky with the drop, but I highly doubt that this place is worth it. It's also quite dangerous, as the mob density is quite high and all of them are hostile. And on top of that, you have these guys that roam around and might catch you unprepared. If you have been playing Classic for a while, you already know that gold is pretty hard to come by, and with that in mind, I will tell you that the spots that I'm about to show you can realistically earn you between 3 and 8 gold per hour. And that's mainly raw gold, topping it up with some cooked food that you can also vendor. Of course, you will also get some green and blue item drops at times, and this can round up that amount to 10 gold, maybe even more if you are lucky. It may not sound like much, but it's pretty decent for those levels, considering that you will be safe and you will also get ahead by out-leveling some questing zones. The main point of this guide is to have the gold when you hit 40 and not waste any more time at 40 plus to grind. The first grinding spot that I'd suggest is in Wetlands, killing the raptors in this area. This is a good place because the mobs are around level 25 and you can start grinding at a lower level. I'd usually recommend that you are close to 30 to help with the clear speed. They drop the keen raptor tooth, and the mobs in this area have the highest drop chance. You can stack 10 of them and they sell for 45 silver per stack. They also drop raptor eggs, and you could boost your earnings by cooking them into curiously tasting omelet, as these sell for 30 silver per stack. You need 130 cooking skill for it, and you can get the recipe from these vendors in Ratty Highlands or Stranglethorn Vale if you are Horde, and from Stormwind if you are Alliance. I made 4 gold on my test run in this spot, but keep in mind that it can vary a bit, depending on how fast are you able to clear the packs and how lucky you are with the drops. This spot made it on the list because you can start early on and it's safe as you can either farm the packs using AoEs or pick them one by one. You have a lot of open space and flexibility. Even if it's easier for the alliance players to get here, there is a neutral vendor nearby to clear your bags. The next grind is located in Thousand Needles, Shimmering Flats right in this spot, where you will farm Basilisks. It's a nice place for raw gold since these drop quite a lot of grey items and some have around 40% drop chance, which is pretty high. By vendoring these grey items, you can get between 16 and 65 silver per stack, the most valuable being the large basilisk tail and the squishy basilisk eyes. They also have 0.5 chance to drop a couple of blue items, and I even got lucky with a burning war axe, but I will exclude it from my calculations and will only consider the raw gold. I tried this place a couple of times and made between 4 and 6 gold per hour. I'd say that you can expect an average of 5 raw gold per hour here. You also tend to get a couple of large fangs, but on my server these have gone really cheap and I just vendored them after my last run. I recommend this place because it's safe as there's plenty of open space, the spawn rate is fast, even if people are around, and you also have vendors nearby. For the next one, I had some mixed feelings but decided to include it because it's quite popular and the returns were decent even if I had to sell some stuff on the auction house. I'm talking about the Badlands Earth Elementals. I kinda get why these are so popular as they have a high chance to drop a lot of grey and white items and the elemental earth has potential on the auction house. But there are always people around and they have quite high armor, which makes them pretty tedious to kill as a class that relies on physical damage. I made 4 gold from vendoring the grey and white items and an additional 2 gold and 47 silver from selling 10 elemental earth on the auction house. That's 6 gold and 47 silver in total. It's pretty decent, but you can probably get better results than me if you have faster clear speed. As a hunter, it felt pretty slow as they are also immune to poison. Moving on, we have the rich Huntress farm, which is close to the earth elementals right in this area. They have 48% chance to drop tiger meat and 33% for the long soft tails. I feel like this one is slightly better in terms of raw gold as you could take advantage of another cooking recipe and round up your earnings. I got 6 gold out of it by vendoring the long soft tails that sell for 40 silver per stack and cooking the tiger meat, which resulted in 84 jungle stews. You can get a recipe from Stranglethorn Vale for both Horde and Alliance. These sell for 60 silver per stack and was probably lucky with my run because I got almost 4 extra gold from vendoring the green items that dropped. The last one on our list, it's also my favorite one as it's really chill and safe and I got almost 7 raw gold on each run. I'm talking about the turtles of Shimmering Flats that spawn around this shipwreck. Even if these are part of a quest, I never had any competition while farming them. You will see someone occasionally, but most of them will just leave you to it if they see you committed to the spot, as you can find these turtles all over the place. The spawn rate is pretty fast and it shouldn't be an issue at all. I'd suggest that you start grinding this place at level 35 plus, just to have a consistent clear speed. There are no risks here as these are not hostile and you can pull as many as you wish. They have a great raw gold return because they have 32% chance to drop the speckled shell fragment and you can vendor 5 of these for 45 silver. They also have 32% chance to drop turtle meat, which you can cook and vendor for 60 silver per stack. The recipe can be obtained from a quest in Hillsbrad Foothills for both Horde and Alliance. You should be good to complete it at around level 30 and it's really easy, you just need to turn in 10 turtle meat. I will leave the links in the description for all the cooking recipes and with all the mobs that I mentioned so you can check them out yourself. I hope that you found the video helpful and you'll get that mount at 40. And I know that there are plenty of other spots but it's impossible to cover all of them and it was really time consuming to test everything as I literally grinded for an hour on each spot and for some places I did multiple runs just to make sure that I provide you with as much accurate information as possible. If you have any favorite spots, leave them in the comments as I'm curious about your approach for the mount grind and it will probably help others as well. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.